After 4 great massive extinctions that have taken place on Earth, you're probably wondering what used to exist here on the spinning blue marble. The planet was diverse and filled with even crazier animals by our standards today, and due to many environmental factors, there were many gigantic megafauna that lived on Earth that have long since perished. They're frightening and interesting, so we thought today we'd go over the top 13 gigantic prehistoric creatures. But before that, click the subscribe button to stay up to date on all of our videos here at Animal Club. So let's get into it. On a list of gigantic animals, let's start with a bug. Dragonflies are harmless and nice to look at, however their ancestor, the Meganeura, had a wingspan roughly 2 feet wide. The size of this bug and many others during the Carboniferous period here on Earth were large because of the pure oxygen content of the time. Oxygen levels are now way down, and so over time, the bugs also became smaller. While this animal is still smaller than today's blue whales, this ancient watery beast, Basilosaurus, was monstrous. At 60 or so tons, the Basilosaurus was certainly the largest out of prehistoric whales, outweighing even the much later relatives that we'll be seeing soon on our list. This carnivorous whale is not something you would want to run into in the waters hundreds of millions of years ago. Hate rats? Well, this next animal would be your next nightmare. Meet Joseph Artigazia, which is the largest rat ever. At 10 feet long and 1 ton, this isn't a rat in your wall. It's more like a cow-sized rat that ate leaves off trees and as well as fruits. They have sharp incisors, no doubt for attracting mates and the such. We wonder if you could ride one of these, or if it's like today's Broncos and would kick you off. We had dogs in the Ice Age and made them companions, but go back just a little bit further and you'll find the biggest wolf dog-like predator looking for prey around the corner. There's no disputing that the Pleistocene Canis duris was the biggest prehistoric look-alike, and that was at least 25% heavier than the largest dog breeds alive today. This dire wolf is about as big as modern-day well-fed ponies. That's definitely not man's best friend. Modern armadillos are tiny, inoffensive creatures that'll curl up into softball-sized lumps if you so much as look at them. That's not the case with glyptodont, a 1-ton Pleistocene armadillo, roughly the size and shape of a classic Volkswagen Beetle. Now amazingly, the early human settlers of South America occasionally used glyptodont shells to shelter themselves from the elements. Going by their size, we're sure it was probably a nice studio apartment for the time. Some animals used to be huge, and especially camels. Like many megafauna mammals of its day, Gigantocamelus was equipped with an unusually small brain, and its broad, flat feet were well adapted to navigating tough terrain. Would you believe us if we told you camels came from North America and slowly migrated to Asia and the Middle East? We know it sounds crazy, but migration patterns can be crazy and surprising sometimes. Take the scariest gorilla you've ever seen and double not only its size, but its temper. Gigantopithecus was a large primate that lived just prior to the advent of modern humans in forests. This large ape stood about 9 feet tall and, as far as we can tell, ate fruits and everything else. A big hairy man in the forest sounds scary, but some people say they live among us today as the famous Bigfoot species. We had mentioned a large ocean creature before, and it contended with many other giants at the time, and its name was Leviathan. This toothed whale would hunt smaller whales of the time. You thought whales were peaceful, but this one was a full-blown predator. It was 50 feet long and had a head 10 feet long. Its teeth were about 1 foot long and were like Bowie knives. There isn't anything alive like this today, and thank goodness, SeaWorld would be a lot scarier than it is now. One of the best known in recent extinctions would be the woolly mammoth. These mammoths went extinct 10,000 years ago during the Ice Age. Early cavemen certainly had a hand in lessening their numbers, but as time went on and the temperature continued to grow warmer, it's unlikely they would have survived anyways. One of the biggest mammoths to exist was the steppe mammoth, and it stood 12 to 15 feet tall, an astoundingly large creature indeed. Everything was bigger back in the day, it seems, and snakes are no different. There was a snake species to trump them all, and that was the titanoboa. This snake could grow to 42 feet long and swallow almost anything in its environment. It probably resembled a modern-day anaconda, complete with jaw-unhinging abilities to swallow larger prey. Giant animals also existed in the air. Quetzalcoatl was a gigantic flying reptile the size of a giraffe. It weighed a max of 550 pounds. You're probably wondering how something like this could fly, and the reason is that its bones are primarily hollow to maximize its ability to fly, as well as the composition of its body. The Paraceratherium were enormous beasts that lived 25 million years ago in what is now Asia. Standing nearly 20 feet tall at the shoulder, Paraceratherium remains the largest known species of mammal to walk the earth. These animals were about 33,000 pounds, and not much is truly known about them other than their size, their diet, and some mating rituals. Megalodon is the name known around the world for the biggest shark to ever exist. Being 50 feet long and going fin to fin with the also relevant Leviathan, it was an absolute sea monster. It ate anything it wanted, and with no competition aside from Leviathan, it thrived until the biodiversity of the ocean got smaller, and so, in order to survive, sharks got smaller. The titans of their time were amazing, weren't they? Gigantic animals walking the earth all across its history. We hope you guys enjoyed these, and as always, have a great one.